advise that the... Thank you.
Mr Chair.
I call the honourable member.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Yeah, I will take a call now just so that I can address a couple of the issues that have been raised. But before I get started, I would like to refer to an article written by Anna Williams, and it's in relation to an interview that she did with the Mayor of Marlborough, Mr Snowman. And he said that 5 people had reported seeing patched, and this relates to last week, 5 people had reported seeing patched mongrel mob members in public, including a netball game at Horton Park in Blenheim and around in supermarkets. The community needs to combine together with police to make them unwelcome, to ensure there isn't illegal activity in Marlborough, he said. There's an old saying, if you take away the oxygen from the flame, it goes out, and that's what we need to do. These people who wear patches, they won't give them up easily, he said. The patch gives them identity, and they won't want to lose that. I have no sympathy for them. He planned to talk to the Marlborough Police Area Commander to make sure everything was being done to ensure gangs did not thrive in the region. So this is an issue that does affect our communities, and I'd just like to also briefly mention that in my speech on the second reading of this bill, and I also acknowledge the Honourable Todd McLeay, who brought this bill to the House, I spoke about an incident that I had to deal with personally when I was down in Rotorua, and it involved 2 young girls that had been attacked by prospect mongrel mob gang members and patched gang members as well. And that's going back sort of 12 years ago. And some people would say to me, well, you know, we've moved on. Is this really still an issue? And yet I was sad to read in the media reported through the Daily Post in Rotorua 2 weeks ago of a young girl that was attacked by 4 mongrel mob prospects walking through the grounds of a school and raped and pretty savagely attacked and physically damaged, and of course she'll be emotionally and psychologically damaged as well. So this is still a real, clear and present problem that as a country we have to face. Now, in terms of is there current legislation in place that can deal with this? No, there's not. The legislation that's in place at the moment is, and you know, Ms Warwank made a very good point on this. However, it requires an action. It requires them to actually do something to meet the elements of the offence. Whereas what this bill does, it allows the police to come in and take action purely off the fact that a gang member is wearing his patch. And I bring us back again, I'd like to bring us back again and remind us all in this House actually what that patch signifies. And the patch does signify for someone to get, and gangs unfortunately, they use our youth, they're recruiting from our youth. Sadly the youth see this as a way of identification and the camaraderie and the rest of it, and that sort of that collectiveness that you were talking about. It would be much nicer if they could get that through a sports group, through a sports club or through a community group rather than a gang. And so I come back to what that patch means. And what the patch means is that they had to have achieved a pathway of committing crimes, and normally violent crimes, against our communities to get themselves to the status where they're awarded a patch and they become a patch gang member. So for some reason in this country over the years, I don't know whether we've become desensitised to it or whether we've just learned to live with it, but we've actually allowed these people to walk around with patches on which clearly say to the rest of us, hey, we've committed offences against you. And I think it is time as a country, as we say, and we use every chance that we have to say, you know what, we're not going to accept that anymore. You are not going to wear patches around. You're not going to. Sorry, Mr. Chair. And so I think these are the important points that we really need to think about when we're talking about this bill. The other thing that I just wanted to point out very quickly is that we had a very good trip, the Law and Order Select Committee, down to Christchurch recently, and Chris Farfoy was with us, and we were talking to the police there, and they spoke about I think they called the domestic protection orders. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that's what they call them. And what it allows police to do is go to a violent domestic, and they can remove the offender without actually having to rely or have a complaint generated from the victim or the complainant. So it removes the onus, it removes the stress of the complainant or the victim to actually have to make the complaint. The police can just go in there and remove them under these domestic protection orders. And actually, Chris thought that was a great idea. He thought it was, sorry, Mr. Farfoy thought that was a great idea. Well, actually, this bill is exactly the same principle. As it removes the onus of a member of the public, someone working in a WINS office, an administrator or receptionist at a school or a teacher at a school from having to actually generate a complaint. They don't have to do that. The minute a gang member walks onto a school...
Hold up. Is the member seeking another call?
No, it's fine, Mr Chair.
Member
Take another call.
Thank you. I call the Honourable Member Reno Terakatani.